Welcome to Wisdom Women, the podcast where we meet empowered women and uncover the stories that shape them. We dive into the role models who lifted them up, the moments that tested them, and what empowerment truly means and what it does not mean. From burlesque dancers turned breathwork facilitators to moms who moonlight as entrepreneurs, the wisdom here is raw, real, and undeniably fun and exciting. And get ready for our guest today. We have Shivali Lulla with us. Welcome, Shivali.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, thanks for
So thank
coming.
you.
No, this is
Yeah.
like I know we've been working on some projects together, and when I was thinking of Wisdom Women, you were definitely a name that pops in my head as like as far as I want to hear more about her and like her journey of empowerment because I know Shivali, a project I'm creating, a type of handbag thing that I've been making in the world of Rachel Rima living, and like as we're sitting there hanging out, all of a sudden you're like talking Spanish on the phone, and I'm like, I don't. And then like just kind of working in New York City, and we've gone on scavenger hunts for products and items, and just watching you in action is really cool to see, and I love the way that you work. So actually, before we get into empowerment and those questions, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what
Yeah.
you do?
Yeah, of course. First of all, I want to say you inspire me. Um, your product inspires me, and I'm so excited for you to bring that to the world because I think it's
Yes, I
so
know.
needed.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, a little bit about me is I'm a product developer of luxury accessories. So if you have an idea and you want to bring it to market and bring it to the world, I will help you along the way with getting that manifested and getting that done. Anywhere from, you just have a first mock-up or a sketch and you need help sourcing all the materials for that and then having someone make it. So I manage the process of that, of dealing with the sample maker, of kind of picking the right materials that are going to function well together. I love, I just love art. I love beautiful things. And I love well, this is really your product, Rachel. Like the way you find a solution for everyday problems with a beautiful thing, right? Because it's all about the energy. I really believe in like energy
Mm.
and manifest. And I think that when you have beautiful things around you, you feel empowered to do things really beautifully. So
Oh, I love
yeah,
that. That's like your
yeah.
slogan. Take it.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna save that.
That
But
was
yeah,
so great. And so you had an art background, or what was your background a little bit? I was always curious, like
yeah.
people's career
So
journeys.
it's really cool. I feel very grateful that I grew up in a family that just loved beautiful things. Like
Mm.
my parents just loved decorating the home. They loved traveling the world and picking up pieces. So, I come from a family that's in it's they're in the business of fashion, right? So
Mm.
they're in clothing. It's a little different than what I do. I'm more what I deal with is more the luxury end of things. But I always grew up just like looking for beauty, right, in everything, and then translating in that a way that is usable for people, like to wear in clothing. So that's what my parents did. And so I grew up with that background, and I always knew I wanted to go maybe into the family business or something related to that. So
Yeah.
I graduated high school and I decided to go to an all women's college, which was really crazy for me to do, but kind of awesome because I learned a lot about women's empowerment from a
Yeah.
very young age, and the energy you get from hanging out with a bunch of empowered women is pretty awesome. So I had that, and I went to one of the seven sister colleges, Mount Holyoke College in
Oh, yeah.
Massachusetts, and I decided, okay, well, I'm going to study something apart from fashion because that's something I'll do later on, right? When I'm done with my bachelor's degree. But I actually I majored in anthropology and Asian studies. Yeah.
Wow.
And I spent a lot of, like, I spent about 8 months in China doing like a study abroad thing,
Oh my
immersing myself in a different culture. And I was like, oh, I want to learn Mandarin because a lot of products come from overseas, and I want to understand the psychology of like working with a different culture and like how to connect, in that way. And I think like just having that background in anthropology opened my mind, and
God.
to so much about just connecting with people in general across the world, like globally. And
Yeah.
so after I finished my degree in anthropology and Asian studies, I was like, okay, now I'm ready for fashion. So I went and did a course in Manhattan at Parsons, the School of Design.
Uh-huh.
I did an AAS program, which was just 2 years, but it was extremely intense. It was in fashion design. So I did all the cutting, the sewing, and all of that, which I never ended up using after I graduated, but because I had the knowledge
Yeah.
and I was surrounded by all these amazing creators and designers, who I'm still connected with till date,
Yeah.
it was just like this world of information that I carry with me till today and just knowledge. And so I had, that's my kind of background. I grew up in Puerto Rico. I was born in Puerto Rico
Yeah,
randomly.
that's such I've gotta hear
Yeah,
more
so
about
that's,
this. Yeah.
yeah. My mom and dad got married very young. It was kind of like an arranged marriage, and they had nothing. And so they decided, let's move to an island that is whose economic growth is on is on the rise. So they went to Puerto Rico and they said, well, we'll import clothing from China and India and sell it in to large stores in Puerto Rico. And they took a risk and they ended up staying for 18 years. They had three children there. And so we all learned Spanish. We were all born there. And around the time we were like teenagers, they were like, okay, now we need to leave Puerto Rico because we want to expose our kids to like, more cultures and more, and a different kind of environment. So we left and I think that move really helped me kind of adapt to a lot of changes, and
Mm,
that kind of skill is something that
mhm.
I carry with me till today. Like moving at a young age, is actually like it gives you like a set of skills that you'll end up using for the rest of your life. So
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I mean,
yeah.
I can imagine, like, being a person that is, like, the minority in a country too, even,
Yeah.
like, the minority of a minority country,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Minority of a minority. Yeah. It was like quite interesting. But
uh-huh,
I think like my parents always were very innovative and like really optimistic. So I think that really gave us a sense of confidence that like whatever we are, whatever we're
yeah,
fine. Like we're gonna do cool things, we're gonna travel the world. And they just were believers in like manifesting. So it was
right.
yeah,
So
it
did
was
they
cool.
define manifesting as, like, we have an idea, let's like, we there's nothing really in our way, just
Yeah.
we have to do this thing. We create, we build, and
Yeah.
we experiment, I guess, and, like, see
Yeah.
what works?
Yeah, exactly. Like they knew what I think I learned from a young age, like you, if you have a vision, if you have an idea and you put in the time, eventually something's going to click and you can create what your vision is. And
Yeah.
so they were like a real testament to that, I think. And they decided to, and the fact that they moved to Puerto Rico and built a whole life, right? And a career
Mhm.
and a business, so, a business that gave them like a good life and gave their children I think that was really cool to see, like to witness growing up. And then the way they moved when they were 40 years old to New Jersey from Puerto Rico and
Right.
like recreated something from scratch, just because they were like, oh, well, we want our kids to be like more in touch with Indian culture and like, closer to like a global landscape instead of just staying, on a smaller island, which is beautiful, but
Right.
you want more exposure for your kids. So it was, yeah, it was really cool to see that growing up. And I think I'm very grateful that I had that as a
Yeah, it
role
definitely
model.
breaks the mold. Like, there's
Yeah.
no one way to kinda have a childhood and sort of have a path that really you can reflect on as, like, "Gosh, it's not so scary. Let me just," like, they did this totally wild thing and then
Yeah.
did it all over again.
Yeah.
I find that that's, like, it really opens our mind to the possibilities and to
Yeah.
be a little more brave maybe sometimes to just
Yeah.
say, "It will
Yeah.
work out." But
Yeah, I think it's so true. It's all about like it's kind of like it's available to everyone, I think. It's
yeah.
just got to tap into it and
Tap
believe
into it.
and trust.
Well, that will tap us into our question and segue
Yeah.
nicely into my first question that I asked my guests here. And it sounds like you have some of the family roots there of women's empowerment to share, but who were the really specific women? And I'm always curious about this because honestly, I should just start calling the show like our mother's
Yeah.
daughters. Like, it's always
Yeah.
the mother, like,
Yeah, it's
testament to our
true.
moms.
Yeah.
But I would love for you to share anything about just people that showed up in your life, women that showed up in your life and really endowed you with some wisdom and empowerment.
Yeah, I mean, the first person that comes to mind is my grandmother.
Mm.
Um, I spent very little time with her, like physically here. She suffered a lot. She had cancer and she passed away.
Mm.
But I remember like her energy was just like so full. Like she was a creator. Like she created this space for everyone to like just live life fully. And I think I come from a long line of women who are they they took care of their families, but all within that they were able to be other people for themselves and
Mm.
for everyone around them. And I think that to me is like the most inspiring thing when you can just be fully yourself, but also serve, and feel confident in yourself. And like, it's not like doing everything for everyone is like giving yourself up. Like it was, and I saw that. I saw it. Like my mother worked her whole life, but she also took such good care of everyone. And yeah, I think it was obviously like it could get stressful and all that, but she saw a big picture in it, right? That like this is for me and it's for everyone. And in serving everyone, I'm also getting something. So um
Wow.
and my grandmother was like that too. Like she was, a business advisor to my grandfather. She was extremely intelligent and just confident, and she just had an answer for everything because she believed in herself so
Mm.
much, and it was a humble confidence. It wasn't like, oh, like I'm so great, like everyone look at me. It was just they just exuded this energy of confidence and like capability of like getting things done and creating experiences and things for people. So
Wow.
yeah,
I always like this word pops out sometimes when I hear people talking, and the one that really I feel like connects with you, Shivali, is like a creator. So you said your grandmother was this creator of like a space that
yeah,
everyone could live in, also
yeah,
being of service. Like
yes,
that
yeah,
was, I mean, that is empowerment in a lot of
yeah,
ways to feel maybe um the permission to do that sometimes. I think
yes,
sometimes we need freedom of heart and mind to do that. Did you
yeah.
feel that was so this was your maternal grandmother? Was this
My maternal grandmother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So what do you
yeah,
feel like that's sort of those traits are kind of embodied in that creator?
yeah. I think she just had like major trust in like the universe and in herself, and that there was some kind of higher plan because even while being, I only knew her while she was sick, but still
Yeah.
I could feel like her very strong energy and like her willingness to just create a space for everyone to live in like a really happy place, and I didn't even live with her, but it was like every time I visited her, I could feel it, and it was really inspiring. Like she was just so full of life. Like she wanted to inspire us at every moment. It was whether it was like sharing like an excerpt from like a book or a song or, or some kind of habit that you should like live by, right? Like, when you meet someone, like greet them with love, and so, like just small things like that. Everything was like, just like live a good life, live well, and I think and eat good food, and like when you eat together and like love each other,
Mhm.
and it was just those small things that like really stick with me till today. And I'm like, okay, like I can feel her presence and like why I find these things so important, certain traditions or,
So
certain
is
ways
that
of
how do you
being.
feel you've incorporated that into your life, her energy?
So I mean, one thing I say is like once a month I get my whole family together at my house, and I cook her recipes actually,
Oh, how
and I
lovely.
feed everyone, and when I cook, I'm like I think of her, and I'm like, yeah, this is what you would have, this is what you did, like this, and I
Yeah.
can see, and everyone gets together, we laugh, we eat, we talk about the food and how it tastes, and how the recipe changed this time. What did you do differently? So yeah, and then also just she just really always like really cared about people
Mhm.
and helping people, and it was like very selfless. So I think that's another thing that I got from her. It was just like if you take on something, take it on fully, Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I do. I think what you touched on also around how we can be of service and be our own woman and have our own
yeah.
thing going on in life. Because I think sometimes when we think like, I want to be empowered, I want to be a woman with my own career, maybe, or like my own, just my own hobbies, stuff going on. And we think that we can't be of service. Like it's a very black and white thing. Like if I'm this, I'm this, or if I'm that, oh, maybe I get a little bit for
Yeah.
me. I can go play pickleball a little bit, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and it's about that energy of like, no, actually, how much better of a provider, giving service can we when we're taking care of ourselves and
Yeah.
doing it fully? Like you said, if I'm doing it,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not ditching my family. I'm gonna,
Right.
but I want to do this all as best I can.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's just like a mindset thing also, right? Like you can burn out in doing a lot, right? For other people.
Yeah, I've done
And
it.
we've all been there. Like
Yeah.
we all like burn out, right? Like especially, with kids, it's like like it sometimes feels like a thankless job, but I think when you shift your mindset and you think like I'm I'm gonna take this time for myself so that I can show up
Mhm.
better. And so those moments that you take to recharge yourself are for you really, but then also for you to show up the way you want to show up
Yeah.
in your space, with your family and with your business and with everything in life. So it's
Yeah.
a
I love
flow.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. The grandma energy of like, it is like this, it's this pie in the sky for me, the dream of really finding that balance all the time of um, loving my family, being present for my family fully,
Yeah.
and carrying on with the Rachel story, whatever that is that I have going
Yeah.
on. It's not so black and white because I feel like, in the 80s we had the generation of maybe single moms or just women in general, like have it all, do it all. And then we're saying, but you can't. Nobody does it.
Yeah.
Even men don't
No.
do it all. Like
No.
they
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
a lot less, honestly, than
Yeah, let's
especially
be
a
honest.
mother would do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
reframing that messaging, I think that's this generation now of like, no, like we don't do
Yeah.
it all. Like that's
Yeah. And like what you're doing is enough, right? Also having that mindset.
yeah,
Like it's enough. Like, okay, if if I'm if I do like three things today and I did them well, that's enough. And everything else that didn't happen, right? Like
yeah,
we're gonna say, okay, that's okay. Like
yeah.
so just knowing that whatever you're doing, whatever you're working on is enough. And yeah.
And that takes confidence, right?
Yeah.
That's more. It keeps making me think of your grandmother and that she
Yeah.
had all that confidence and wisdom to pass on. It's like because I feel like there's that self assuredness sometimes.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
if I know myself, I know this is my limit.
Yeah.
I know this is I've got more. I got more in me or something like
Right.
getting to know ourselves. And how has
Yeah.
motherhood been for you in general? Like do you feel like that empowered women that have guided you through motherhood a bit?
Yeah. I mean, I think motherhood is like such a personal journey, right? Because
Yeah.
um it just it sits differently for everyone, right?
At
It's all
different
based.
ages, all of it. We
Yeah.
know, very many
Yeah.
cycles.
And yeah, and it's just like I think the way you see yourself as a mother is so related to like your own relationship with your mother and then like
Mm,
other and like what you've seen in the world with the whole like mother child. So I think it's been a real journey of just discovering and accepting myself for who I am really because it's like what I said or like I think if you take care of yourself then you
yeah.
can show up better, right? And so I think that's been like the number one thing for me on my journey as a mother. It's like you're good, your kids are good. Like, you're
Right.
and then I think, well, and also being an entrepreneur, like, something I'm struggling with recently is really dividing my time,
Mm.
between the two worlds because, and so I've started to kind of like see if I can relate them to each other sometimes or like
Oh,
tell my kids about like what I'm working on, so that they can, they also know like, okay, like this is why maybe she's busy sometimes or she, like can't be there at that time so, I think just talking, like, communicating with your children is like really key, like just having an
Yeah.
open, even if they're young, like they'll kind of, I feel like they kind of get it, like even when they're
Yeah.
young,
You know, start sweatshop in the back. There you go. Begin.
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Like just like, yeah, come on. So, but no, I mean, like it's just it's been like a real journey, I think, of just like letting go of perfection
Oh, yes.
and just throwing yourself into and accepting, yeah, the chaos of what it is and saying, well, if I take care of me, then, everyone around me is going to be good because I'm really, as a mom, you're like the heart. You're the heartbeat, of
It's
the
so true.
house. Yeah.
So true. There is like essential. My kid said to me the other day, the younger one, and I'm like, why didn't you ask daddy? Daddy's right there. He's like, no, but
Yeah.
you're the general. Like I need
Yeah.
to get approval from the
Yeah.
main general. And it's not 100%, like not all the way like that,
No,
but
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
their
that's what it is.
perception is kind of that um there is an energy source to a family, I think a little
Yeah.
bit that
Yeah.
guides, okay, it's kind of taking an inventory of how are we doing, what could we work on, and it's not that men, I know men do this, and I know I'm 100% sure men do this too, but I do find that women are very intuitive in a lot of ways of
Yes.
connecting with how the energy, or how are we having enough family dinners together,
Yeah.
um, what could we balance out a little bit, and
Yes. Yeah. I feel I relate to that so much, what you just said. Like,
yeah,
in just using your intuition to understand like what's needed right now, right?
yeah.
Like a kind of gauge of like, yeah, what's needed
Right, because
in the
all family
family.
needs are different, obviously, and
Yeah.
kids have
Yeah.
different journeys and needs. So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
truly it's a journey of still, and of course, like right as we kind of get in the flow of things, like puberty happens or
Yeah.
something, which
I
you're not
know.
there yet, but
No, I'm
I'm
not.
like, oh, it's
Yeah.
all different needs now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my oldest is 8 years old, so I'm
Oh,
seeing like little waves of like, I'm my own person, like leave me alone.
oh,
Um,
yep.
he's like, I'm not a newborn. Don't treat me like a newborn. I'm like, okay. So
Noted.
I'm sorry, I just wanted a hug.
Oh, that's very sweet. That's
Yeah,
nice.
but yeah, but it's fun. I love it. I mean, I think it's like the most special thing, and I think it really helps you grow as a human being, and it
Yeah,
humbles
by
you, right?
force. Yeah.
Yeah, by force, it really does.
Of course.
Yeah,
Okay, well, the second layer of the question, Shivali, that I have is usually like if you had a list of like some of the top qualities that you would say, even if not just mother and grandmother, that if you see empowered women that are those character traits, what do you feel would really define that?
um, I think confidence. I think confidence as a way of actually connecting to people is like is just like it's like it's available to everyone, right? We can all, as women, we can all tap into it and we can find something that we're really proud of,
Mm,
some kind of ability that we each have that is serving like a higher purpose. So like I think um that's an amazing quality. I I went to an all women's college and I really saw that
mm,
firsthand, being surrounded by that female energy, right?
right.
That when you start to lean on each other for it also for the confidence, like you can create some and it's like confidence is not just about being a woman because it could like it goes beyond being a woman. It's just about okay, tapping into your feminine energy to create again, to manifest
Yeah.
an experience or a project or
Hmm.
whatever goal we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. That's, and that confidence I feel like is, I don't know if you agree, it's like this I mean you and I talk about meditation and that other
Yeah.
kind of level of stuff that I'm of course very into, and I think there's something that around that word confidence of like you were saying about your family, that there is something here in the universe with us, like there's
Yeah.
something that wants the best for us, that even if there's challenges, like I'm confident like we'll get
Yeah.
through this, and
Yes.
that is hard, it's not always there for me, but like I can see when I'm in it, when I'm in the that real faith, I guess, that
Yeah.
that doing our best, connecting with the right path, doing our best parenting.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
confidence is big. That's a great
Yeah.
trait. I
I think
like
it's inspiring also, right? Because when I see a confident, when I feel that energy from someone who's very confident, then I'm like, well, oh yeah, I can be that person too,
that.
and
Yeah.
it's really the basis for doing big things. So
Yes.
yeah,
Right? It's the confidence. I think, I mean, I've talked about this in a few of the episodes of like how women can tend to feel competitive with each other,
yeah,
or um comparing themselves to each other instead of
right,
maybe collaborating or learning slash using their strengths together like
yeah,
that. Do you feel like that's shifting
yeah,
a bit too?
yeah. I
Yeah.
I think yeah, I think there's a huge shift in the way people think about that. Like it's not really like a race. It's not a
Mm.
competition. It's about if I can do it, so can you, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Like it's for all of us. Like
Some for
love is
all.
for all of us. Confidence is for all of us.
Yeah.
It's a,
Yeah.
so I think it's really available to us all. It's just a process of like trusting, yourself really and
Yeah.
like and and yeah, just believing that, you know, um everyone's kind of rooting for you. It's not,
Yeah.
you're not alone. Like,
I mean, I know that
yeah.
that's sometimes takes big work, but I
Yeah.
know it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
I get glimpses, and the more work of this I do, I feel like I can sit in it longer and really.
Yeah, because actually people are rooting for you. Like
Yeah.
you think this and that because you're trained to like, think that way, but then eventually you learn like actually like wow, like when I do something cool, like there's a bunch of people just celebrating me. So,
Yeah,
and they want to. So it's for
absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for this
Yeah.
discussion. This has been great. And at the end of each call, I will pull an oracle card to kind of like just see how the energy, I don't know, just see if a message or something
Yeah.
comes up. I think when two
I
women
love
start
that.
chatting, there's definitely some energy
Yeah.
that flows, and the cards have been like amazingly synced up each time.
That's awesome.
So let me grab that.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
edit this out. I left them over here. Let me grab
Okay.
it.
Sounds good.
All right. Let me see. Okay, these are the first ones my eyes went to. Okay. So these are the cards that my eyes went to first for us, and it's the Goddess Tarot. Chris Walder created these. I'm not sure if they did the illustrations and this. Okay. Anyway,
Amazing.
so I'm just gonna clear the cards, and then I'll start shuffling them, and you can just take a deep breath, and whenever you want me to stop, you let me know when to stop, and I'll pull the top card.
Okay, stop. If
Okay.
that happens,
Huh?
if I mean when that happens, like whenever the card deck kind of like
It
I
did.
would say,
It was, but I don't know
yeah.
where it was, and I'm like, ah, that's not it. That was
No, it's not.
maybe we'll
Okay.
do. Let's do it again because
Okay, let's
I
do it
think
again.
I put too much of my own thinking into it. So I'm gonna fine.
Okay.
I'm
All
doing
right,
it
let's do it
again.
again.
So
Okay.
Shivali, if you have a card, you let me know. Damn it, they all spell out again.
Okay. I wonder
Okay,
what that means.
you're putting power and making these cards jump out, so I
Yeah,
have to do
probably.
them. All right, I'm not going to pull all of these because three came out, but you know
Oh,
what?
wow.
I'll put the details in the description of this
Okay.
YouTube. But one of them that always would come up for me would be the Nine of Swords,
Oh, wow.
and
Ugh,
this is a lot around taking care of yourself, like relaxation, meditation, coming back
amazing.
into like taking care of the body. But the other ones I'm seeing, okay, so I'll show them to you and then I'll do because I have to sit and look up the description. I don't know them all by heart. The other one was the Prince of Cups.
Amazing.
And I know the cups are usually about like our emotions and like being able to like hold that. And the prince is usually a beginner of this, like someone that's learning how to get to know their emotions, get to know, how they're feeling. So I'm going to read that one. These are pretty quick, they're not long ones. Okay, an invitation or an offer. Um, it says that allow one experience. and it's, what is it? The water within is a magical push, and it can invite love, passion, creativity, or intuition into life. So this is an invitation or an offer. So that's kind of just like vague, like
Yeah.
something might be ready to. And when we say invitation, it could be an invitation from the universe, like to like
Yeah.
look into something a little deeper. The other
Amazing.
one, oh my gosh, so we have two nines. We have the Nine of Swords, which is about like self care, and then we have the Nine of Pentacles. Look how beautiful that
Oh,
is.
that is pretty. I love that. You got to send me a picture of that
I'm gonna
later.
send pictures of all of these.
Yeah.
And I'll put them kind of out as the reading as they are now, and I'll put like more details in the thing. But the
Amazing.
Pentacles is usually abundance and wealth, stability.
Amazing.
Let me find this one. So this is the Nine of Pentacles. Here we go. Okay. It's an enchanted garden with perfumed flowers, singing birds. The woman enjoys all the luxuries and pleasures she has worked so hard to create. The meaning of this is material prosperity. Now that this has been accomplished, perhaps it's the time to create a new project. So it goes onward. So it's really about
Beautiful.
celebrating the beautiful things that you're bringing into your life and enjoying the moments of a little bird on your hand.
I love it. Oh my God, I love all three of them. That was really special.
That's really sweet. And I feel like if
Yeah.
I put them in order of like a thought around the Prince of Cups, beginning to learn about ourselves, we were talking a lot about having space to have motherhood and my own thing in life,
Yeah.
self care, which is just like impossible to like ignore.
Yeah.
We have to do it, even if it's forced. And then all that prosperity that comes along with it. And
That's
creativity,
beautiful.
like you were talking about
Yeah.
today, and luxury, like your luxury goods that you help
Yes.
create.
Yeah. I love that image of a garden with
Mm,
birds and perfumed flowers. That's like I like I can relate to that. That sounds beautiful.
that was the one you
Yeah.
put out then. That was
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah.
And we're
Beautiful.
all trying to
Thank
call in the
you.
spring right now a little more. I mean, you wouldn't know. You think I'm in like the middle of February, but the
Well, I was just
flowers are
looking at your sweater and the hearts, and I love it.
it is. It's
Yeah,
all
it's
beautiful
love.
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks again, Shivali. And like if someone was really looking to use your services, I mean, I'll definitely put it in the details, but how else can they connect with you?
You can definitely share my phone number because honestly, text is my favorite way of connecting.
Yeah.
Or even like I like the good old phone call. Like, you want to have a chat about what you want to make. You're looking to create a product, a handbag, a bracelet, a little pouch, something like what Rachel made, which she's going to bring to the market
Yeah.
soon. Just call me, text me and let me know that you heard me over here and want to connect or find me on LinkedIn. Yeah. And I can share that. Yeah. With you. And of course, I'm on a few different websites. I work with different companies, with Bedcal, which is a factory in Manhattan. And my profile's on their page, so you can check out, some of the work that I do with the factory on there. And then, yeah, just call or LinkedIn me, and I'd be happy to connect and chat
That's
with you.
perfect.
Yeah,
Shivali is one of the most like I feel like you definitely have this knack of that professional level of taking an idea and making it come alive. And that's what I
yeah.
think that's a special human on this earth that
Thank you.
and your background and all of your eye for things and people would
Yeah,
be so lucky to work with you. And I've seen some of the other things you've made and it's just like, oh my gosh, I want that. Like that's so perfect.
thank you so much,
Yeah.
Rachel. This was such a fun chat,
Yes.
and thank you for sharing what I do with everyone. Yeah,
Oh, it's my pleasure.
yeah,
I'm grateful for you to come and spend some time on the little YouTube
yeah.
podcast that we have here. So
Awesome.
I'll put all that information that Shivali Lulla has shared in the chat. Feel free to reach out. Subscribe if you like these kind of episodes. We definitely would love to have you come and watching the rest that happen here. And we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye. See you soon.